Hello, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon to wherever all of you are joining in from. I can see quite a few of you who have started trickling in, and those numbers are going up as I speak. So, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on this wonderful Wednesday afternoon, evening, wherever you're dialing in from. With that, I would request everyone to let us know in the chat window which city are you dialing in from. We really want to know where our audiences are coming in today. I'm dialing in from Mumbai, India. I have friends here who have dialed all the way from the US of A. So let us know where y'all are coming in from. So we have people from Delhi, Pune. Great, keep that going. A lot of people from Delhi, I see. Great. I will wait for a few more of you to sort of let us know which city you're coming in from. Anyone from outside of India? We have someone from Jammu who's joined us here. Thank you so much. So, uh, yes, okay, keep those chats going. Great. So, what is the masterclass about today? I'm sure you've all read. You're all super, super, super excited as to the session and what it's going to be about and what exactly are we going to be talking about in the session. So, yes, the topic, as you all know, is turning data into decisions, how AI fuels advantage. With the advent of AI, right from Netflix recommending what show should you watch next to AI helping doctors and saving lives, analytics and AI are shaping decisions everywhere, even in our day to day life. So, in today's session, we are going to be talking about how organizations use business analytics and artificial intelligence to make better decisions, innovate faster, stay relevant, stay competitive, and much more, right? The session today is brought to you by the William and Mary Raymond A. Mason School of Business. Fun fact, they are one of the oldest Ivies in the US, and I'm sure my friend Amanda is going to bring that up in her presentation. Apart from that, of course, they offer a number of business programs, several top ranked and STEM designated programs like full-time MBA, Masters of Science in Business Analytics, Masters of Accounting, and many more. While we wait for a few more of you to sort of join in, I'm going to do a quick round of introduction to the panel, starting with myself. My name is Sabahat Hurzuk. I'm the Senior Associate Director at Seed Global Education, where we facilitate interactions between top global universities like the one that we have with us here today, and students like yourselves, giving you a taste, giving you a chance to connect with their faculty, understanding what goes on there behind those scenes, and thereby helping you making those informed decisions about your higher education or career plans. Joining me on the session today is Dr. Pamela Schlosser, who's the Clinical Associate Professor in the Operations and Information Systems Management area at William and Mary. She is going to be speaking to you shortly, and I would allow her to go into a more detailed introduction about herself. Along with her, of course, we have Amanda Bath, Assistant Dean, MBA Admissions, and of course, Fabian House, who's also joined us. So guys, if you are looking to apply to William and Mary, Fabian and Amanda are your go-to people. Anyone in the team, absolutely helpful. Reach out to them at any point and they will be sure to help you. Great. We have crossed over 400 students, and I know all of you are waiting for the session to get kickstarted. But just before that, I really want to understand what is it that you all are looking to gauge from this session. So for that, I'm going to launch my first poll question on the screen in front of you. Which skill do you think will matter most for your future career? Do you think it's technical and data skills, analytics, AI, coding? Do you think business and strategy skills, decision making, leadership? Do you think it's communication and teamwork? Or do you think it's creativity and problem solving? Of course, a lot of us might think that, hey, it's all of these above, which is a fair answer. But I want to understand, even from these four, which four do you think are going to have the maximum impact, or which will help matter the most for you to make uh, that career choice, right? So I'm going to wait for a couple of more seconds. I see quite a few of you who are answering. To those of you who have just come in, there is a poll question on the screen in front of you. Please let us know, which skill do you think will matter most for your future career? And I assure you, in the following couple of minutes, we are going to be going into a lot of in-depth discussion about that. With that, I'm going to end the poll and share the results on the screen in front of you. 39% of the audience think that technical, data skills, analytics, coding, etc., is the way to go, followed by business and strategy, communication and teamwork, and of course, creativity and problem solving. Thank you so much, everyone. for your votes. With that, I would now like to hand over to Dr. Schlosser to take us through her presentation. Over to you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Pamela Schlosser, and as I was introduced, I'm a clinical associate professor of business analytics and also the director of the residential MSBA program here at William & Mary, the Mason School of Business. I have over 15 years of experience teaching business analytics, statistics, and information systems. I've designed and taught courses in competing with business analytics, a number of probability and statistics courses, machine learning courses, and also heuristic modeling courses. I leverage R, Python, and other tools to help prepare students for a data-driven decision making. Over the years, I've also been fortunate to live through several paradigm shifts in our field, each one transforming how we think about analytics and technology. Experiences that were both challenging and incredibly exciting. Much of what I'll share today comes directly from that work. Within our MSBA program at the Mason School of Business, we've deliberately infused AI across our curriculum. So our students here don't just learn about algorithms and technology in isolation. They apply AI and machine learning to real-world business problems. So from finance to healthcare to operations and marketing. In that process, we're not only teaching the technical side, but also about organizational readiness and storytelling required to make analytics actually drive decisions. This talk is about the data-driven organization. And so that means that we need to understand how firms turn information into action in order for them to try to gain and sustain competitive advantage. Being data-driven isn't simply about collecting more data. It's about building capabilities to interpret that data, connect it to business objectives, and let data guide decisions rather than relying on intuition. Data by itself doesn't create value. Organizations produce massive amounts of information every day, and unless that information is tied to business goals and decision-making processes, it actually remains underutilized. What really matters is building the ability to move from raw data to actionable insight. That's why early on in our residential MSBA program, we actually focus on helping students understand that data itself is, that we need more than just data itself, but also understand how the organizations use it. So good analytics requires good business context. Otherwise, insights risk being irrelevant or misapplied. It's not enough to know how to just know how to run a statistical test. Students need to know how to run the statistical test or predictive model, and also how that can drive organizational change. Or in some cases where the results or the test or the AI you're infusing could spark resistance if the insights challenge existing practices or assumptions. So by grounding students in how organizations operate, their missions, and their decision structures, we set up the foundation for them to use data more effectively throughout our program and then into the workplace. Traditional analytics courses actually focus on learning analytics tied to a progression of questions. Understanding descriptive analytics, which tells us what happened, diagnostics analytics, which explores why it happened, predictive analytics, which forecasts what will happen, and prescriptive analytics, which recommends what we should do next. I've taught a number of classes on these types of analytics, and they still remain core pillars and shape the way that organizations approach data for decades. But now the world has evolved, and the speed, complexity, and scale of today's business environment raises new challenges. Data flows continuously, and decisions must often be made in real time. Competitive advantage increasingly depends on personalization and adaptability, which leads to a natural question: where does AI actually fit into this picture? At the Mason School of Business, our approach is different. We try not to just march through this checklist of questions in sequence. Instead, we try to equip future analysts with the skills to tackle these questions as they emerge in practice in ways that matter to organizations. And that requires linking methods to context, understanding how organizations operate, how decisions actually get made, and why these insights gain traction while others meet resistance. So by focusing on this integration, we hope to move just beyond these textbook exercises and deliver analytics that shape real outcomes. So AI, it doesn't actually replace analytics, it builds on it supercharges it. It supercharges the traditional cycle by making analytics faster, deeper, and more dynamic. Rather than producing static reports or one-off models, AI enables organizations to continuously learn, adapt, and evolve their decisions in step with this new data. So that's the shift that we're going through, and we're trying to prepare students to lead given that information. So why data alone isn't enough? Organizations generate enormous amounts of data, but value is only captured when data is transformed into actionable insight. So AI expands this potential by continuously learning from data through machine learning, not just analyzing information, but creating new forms of value. Automating decision-making that once required human judgment, uncovering patterns that are too complex for traditional models, and also enabling personalization at scale, which was previously impossible before AI. So in short, AI allows organizations to both capture more of the value hidden in their data and also create entirely new opportunities from it. So let me just give a few examples here. In terms of making real life decisions, we could consider the healthcare industry. Hospitals collect vast amounts of data from patients. With AI, they can make real-time decisions, such as monitoring vitals connected through devices, flagging anomalies instantly, allowing doctors to maybe intervene sooner. This turns passive data into active data, which could be a life-saving insight. In terms of personalization at scale, we could take a company like Netflix. Netflix has built on its success on personalization. Their recommendation engines learn from every viewing choice and compares it across millions of users. That's why your feed, if you have Netflix, looks different than mine. Personalization at scale keeps customers engaged and reduces churn, customers leaving, which is a direct competitive advantage. In terms of going beyond prediction to causal and autonomous decision making, we could take the finance industry. Banks have long tried to predict fraud by spotting unusual patterns. Today, AI tries to go one step further and not just predict potential fraud, but try to actually automatically block some suspicious transactions in real time while also alerting the customer so that the customer can maybe give input. This causal and autonomous decision making directly embeds into operations, which then gives competitive advantage. So the lesson is clear. Data on its own does not create value. Organizations succeed when they embed AI into workflows so that insights continuously drive personalization, real-time response, and even autonomous action. So what does that actually mean to be an AI company? Becoming an AI company is not just about adopting a set of tools. It's about transforming how an organization thinks, decides, and operates. And that's both an internal and an external shift. In a book, Competing in the Age of AI, the researchers studied more than 350 firms across a variety of different industries. And their conclusion was actually striking regarding to when AI works. Firms that successfully become AI-driven, restructured around data, algorithm, and digital networks, not just for efficiency, but to fundamentally change their operating model. These firms aligned their mission, their governance structure, and their data architectures to support AI at scale. Externally, this shift rippled out to reshape competitive dynamics. AI-driven firms often blurred or redrew industry boundaries. And if we think about Amazon as an example, Amazon completely competes simultaneously in retail, logistics, and cloud services. Fintech, as another example, they disrupted traditional banking. And so the takeaway is that embedding AI into strategy and the operating model changes not only internal processes, but it also reshapes a variety of industries. More importantly, companies that treated AI as a bolt-on tool which could include automating a few processes or running one-off pilot tests, they consistently missed the bigger transformation. So AI had to be woven into the fabric of the business model itself for it to be successful. So when a number of people hear about AI today, we want to say, well, what's happening in the world that's causing people to really start talking about AI at the individual level with no knowledge of statistics or analytics. And so we have this idea of the catalyst for change in modern AI tools. When most people hear AI today, they immediately think about generative AI. But AI is actually a much broader field that's been around for decades, and it's useful to place generative AI in context. Artificial intelligence, AI, is actually an umbrella term. It's the broad effort to create systems that mimic human intelligence. Within that, we have machine learning, which is one of the most important approaches. ML in action is like Netflix recommending you the next show, or when a bank can make a prediction on a loan default. These models learn from past data to try to forecast future outcomes. A subset of ML or machine learning is deep learning. Deep learning can include items like neural networks, which have many layers that powers things like image and speech recognition. For example, deep learning can enable autonomous vehicles to identify pedestrians or traffic signs, and it powers voice assistants like Alexa and Siri. And then there's generative AI. And so generative AI is actually in the same family as deep learning, but it represents a new leap. Instead of just classifying or predicting, generative models can actually create. So they write text, they generate images, they produce new code. In other words, if predictive AI tells us what's likely to happen, generative AI can actually give us new context that we didn't have before. So the key message here is that generative AI is powerful, but it's actually only one piece in the broader set of AI tools that organizations are learning to integrate into their strategies and their workflows. Generative AI is a paradigm shift to our field. And to put generative AI in context, I want to compare these few levels of AI capability. So we have AI that we can call narrow AI. These are systems designed to do one thing, a small set of tasks extremely well. Okay, so they're going to do a small set of tasks extremely well. Examples can include a spam filter or a recommendation engine like Netflix, facial recognition, medical imaging classifiers. They're powerful but domain specific, and they don't generalize outside of the task that they were trained for. General AI is a little bit more broad. And so even though tools like ChatGPT or Copilot feel broad, there's still new forms of narrow AI. They generate text, images, and code remarkably well, but they don't have general reasoning, self-awareness, or the ability to transfer knowledge across unrelated domains the way that a human could. What makes them powerful is the foundation models. They're flexible across a variety of tasks, language, video, audio. And still, with generative AI, we're not quite moving towards general intelligence. So you can think of Gen AI as as a broad, narrow AI, versatile in its domain, but limited outside of that. When we move from general to strong AI, this is more more futuristic than technical. So this is the idea of a system that can actually understand, learn, and apply knowledge across any domain at the human level or beyond. Strong AI is still aspirational, not something we've achieved. And researchers continue to debate how or whether current approaches will still ever get us there. So again, it being a paradigm shift means that Gen AI is actually a form of narrow AI that might start approaching Gen AI in the future, general AI in the future, and that we're still working towards strong AI, which means that we can actually surpass human intelligence. A few examples of Gen AI are ChatGPT or GitHub Copilot that either allow you to have conversational text generation or code generation. So, what it takes beyond technology includes the idea that we still need people, culture, and storytelling. So, success is not just technical. Research shows that AI readiness, for a firm to be ready to implement AI and be successful with AI, it requires both technical readiness, which consists of strong infrastructure, processes, data systems, and then also human readiness, which includes mind skills and awareness. We need people who can frame problems, trust insights, and tell a story. And we also need people to redefine roles across the organization. In doing so, we might create new roles like of redefining leadership roles, creating translators, users, and professionals. So let me highlight two roles in particular. Leaders play a central role in champion data-driven culture. They have to go beyond just approving a technology budget. They actually have to be the champion for AI to be implemented and successful in a company. So they're going to work with aligning analytics with strategy, asking the right questions, and ensuring the AI projects serve business priorities, and setting the expectations that these decisions will be evidence-based. Leaders are going to shape the culture. And so they're going to make the space for experimentation and signal that data-driven learning is valued. And they unlock that broader organizational adoption. One other role to talk about is that of the translator. Translators are critical because we can't expect everyone in the organization to actually be a statistician or an ML or an AI specialist. And so if AI gets adapted in an organization, we might want to create new roles or redefine roles with translators, serving as a bridge between the technical and the business sides of the organization. So these translators understand the analytics enough to work with data professionals, but they also understand the business concept deeply enough to be able to define use cases that actually deliver value. So without them, technical solutions risk becoming disconnected from business problems. And these translators make sure the insights are not just produced, but acted upon. Users and technical professionals still also matter, but it's the combination of leaders setting the vision and translators bridging the gap that turns AI from isolated tools into an organizational transformation. So what AI-ready organizations have in common is that we need to think about what an AI-ready organization actually looks like. So we mentioned that they need to align organizational readiness with technical readiness, but they align technology with strategy, they align talent, and they align workflow. So what that means is that they have to have good digital infrastructure. They have to have the technological capability to be able to have this AI initiative. Platforms, computing power, the integration of tools. They need to build data maturity with high quality, well-organized pipelines. And so that data has to not only be there, but be clean enough to be able to be used. They need to invest in talent and culture. So teams have AI and ML skills and an experimentation mindset that they can use to help make the AI initiative successful. They have leaders who understand AI strategic importance. Without that champion, again, it's going to be more difficult for the AI to be successful. They commit to experimentation and learning over time, and they establish a center of excellence, which standardizes workflows, governance, and best practices across the organization. So I want to take a minute and pause and talk about the center of excellence and discuss that further. So a center of excellence, or a COE, is an organizational structure that concentrates expertise and resources. Done well, it promotes data literacy. It delivers quick wins through lighthouse projects. It establishes a shared governance, and it inspires a broad adoption. A COE provides the foundation that aligns business units and keeps strategies coordinated. So COE is its goal then is to help move this AI initiative forward and also talk between all those roles that I mentioned before, the leaders, the translators, the users, and the technical professionals. To give an example of a successful COE, let's take a large retail chain. They were originally struggling before their AI initiative with fragmented analytics. So they had different departments running different data initiatives, and they weren't all talking to each other. And so that was causing it to be fragmented. Before the implementation of the COE, each department built its own reports, and they often contradicted each other. The CFO stepped in and sponsored a data and analytics COE with 3 goals. Let's standardize tools and definitions. Let's build translators and connect scientists with business leaders. And let's deliver some quick wins to prove value. So a quick win says if you're going to spend a lot of money on a COE, you want to get a quick win to be able to show that this is going to work. And so that helps sets the stage. This company actually started small and they piloted in marketing. And in marketing, they automated one thing, which was customer segmentation. That pilot worked, and so it was considered a quick win. And the targeted campaign actually boosted sales by 8%. With that success, they then scaled to supply chain and finance. And they started investing in training so that it wasn't a separate function, so that analytics wasn't a separate function. The result was that the COE became trusted at the organization. People trusted it. It had good strategic value, and it was self-sustaining. And so that reshaped this organization into a data-driven organization. By contrast, let's take a mid-size healthcare provider that was unsuccessful in its launch of its COE. Industries like healthcare, finance, and the government can be especially challenging for an AI initiative. In this case, the healthcare firm invested heavily and they hired outside top scientists from out of the company to build these advanced models. The effort never gained traction. The COE reported into IT rather than business, and it lacked an executive champion. The projects were developed in isolation, and the predictive patient readmission tool that they were working on, it wasn't trusted by doctors or the nurses or the administration, and it never fit into existing workflows. Without any visible wins or adoption, the business units quickly drifted back to just using spreadsheets or flat files. The COE was dismissed and it ended up being dissolved. So the lesson from these stories is clear. Success depends on more than just technical talent or hiring technical talent. A COE requires extensive sponsorship, alignment with business priorities, and early wins that build credibility. And it also requires seamless integration into everyday workflows. Without these elements, even the most sophisticated technical work fails to deliver transformation. So I've mentioned the word workflows, so I want to explore that just a little bit more and talk about workflow augmentation with AI. So we've talked about the people component of implementing AI initiatives and how important that is within an organization. But it's also important to say that AI initiatives change workflows. And so a workflow is just a repeatable sequence of steps employees follow to deliver outcomes. We should note that not every workflow is equally easy to embed with AI. Some are routine, some are repeatable, and they lend themselves very well to automation right away. Others are more complex. Maybe they're collaborative. Maybe they're heavily dependent on human judgment, and that makes the workflows harder to augment. That's why firms beginning this journey often start off small with workflows that are lower on both automation and integration. And then they might move up to something a little bit more difficult. So one critical point here is that analytics creates value when embedded in workflows. And if insights stay in dashboards or reports, they don't actually change the behavior. So this AI, it's woven directly through workflows by these assistants, co-pilots, or autopilots or agents. And that's when true transformation happens. So just to give a quick example, assistants or co-pilots, they can actually surface recommendations inside emails like CRM or ERP systems without a lot of disruption. They're low automation and low to medium integration, so assistants or co-pilots. But they're practically entry points. As confidence grows, organizations can scale up to autopilots and agents that take action automatically, like rerouting supply chain shipments or processing refunds. That requires higher integration and higher automation. It's more difficult for an organization to implement right away. So the important message is that an organization should start where adoption is easiest, prove value quickly, and then scale. The progression helps organizations avoid resistance and builds trust needed to take on more critical high stakes workflows. So just to wrap up, turning data into decisions isn't about having more dashboards or just more data. It's about embedding AI to fuel learning, decision-making, and competitive advantage. So this journey not only requires technology, but also people, culture, and workflows. As AI continues to evolve, we also must evolve. We must learn how to adopt our strategies, rethink how we work, and ensure our organizations are ready to capture the opportunities ahead. So thank you all for your attention, and I look forward to your questions.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Scholar. Wow, that was amazing. That was really insightful. And I'm sure everyone who had been posting the questions, including myself, it was an eye-opener, really gave us an insight into a lot of things. I'm sure the students have definitely enjoyed it, because if you're looking at the numbers, we are at a full house capacity right now. Great. So
Wonderful.
With that, of course, now that you've heard from the faculty, and I'm sure you want to know more as to how you can get into the program, let's try and understand what is the application process? What is it that William and Mary is looking for? But just before I bring Amanda on, I'm going to run my second poll question for the evening today on the screen in front of you, all of you. If you could tell us, when choosing a university abroad, what is the hardest decision for you? Is it picking the right program and specialization? Is it understanding job, career opportunities after graduation? Is it figuring out how the funding and financial aid works? Or of course, it could also be adjusting to life in a new country. For a lot of you here, it might be the first time that you will travel abroad, go out of your nest. A lot of these could be concerns for you, but I want to understand which one of these are like the highest concerns, or something which takes a lot of weightage in your mind when you are thinking of studying abroad, or you're thinking of going abroad to start a career, etc. So on the screen in front of you, when choosing a university abroad, what's the hardest decision for you? If you could let us know if it is selecting the right program, is it understanding your return on investment? I'm going to go study. What happens after that? Do I get a career? Do I get a job? What am I going to do? Is it understanding how do I get the funds to go to this country? Or is it just all about how do I adjust to a new life, to a new start? Great, quite a few of you have answered. So I'm going to go ahead and publish the poll. The results are on the screen in front of us. One of the biggest concerns right now is understanding job and career opportunities after graduation, of course, followed by funding, which is on everyone's mind, and the others. Great. So I'm sure Amanda here is ready to help you understand a little bit more and help answer some of those queries. In the meantime, I would highly request everyone to keep posting their questions in the Q&A box. Right after this presentation, we will be going into Q&A mode. With that, Amanda, over to you.
Thank you so much, Sabahat. I will go ahead and share my screen as well for today, and we will get started with an overview of the Raymond A. Mason School of Business. Thank you all for being patient with me. For those of you who aren't familiar with William and Mary, as Sabahat said, we are the second oldest institution of higher learning in the United States, established by Royal Charter in 1693. We're also considered one of 8 original public Ivies, and that is due to our commitment to learning excellence. And we're located in Williamsburg, Virginia, on the East Coast of the United States. We have a beautiful and historically rich campus. We're consistently voted one of the most beautiful college campuses in America. Our purpose at the Raymond A. Mason School of Business is to deliver a quality education, again, from the nation's leading public university. We strive to expand your global perspective, to build your leadership potential, and we invite all of our graduate students to join our tribe of alumni who are making an impact in the state of Virginia and around the world. We also boast some strong rankings at William and Mary. Most notably, and after learning from Dr. Schlosser today, we're ranked #1 in learning by Bloomberg Businessweek. And that is due to our commitment to teaching and learning excellence. We're also rated top 5 best professors by Princeton Review. The Tribe Network is strong. We're rated #9 for networking. And overall, we're rated #36 best business school in the United States. There are many opportunities to learn in our graduate portfolio. Today, you got a glimpse of our Master of Science of Business Analytics program. Within our portfolio, we also offer a traditional 22-month full-time MBA, the Master of Science in Business Analytics, a Master of Accountancy, and we have a wide variety of learning opportunities in our online programs, including an online Master of Finance and an online Master of Marketing and various certificate programs. For the purposes of today, I'm going to walk through our full-time MBA, MSBA, and MAC. With the full-time MBA, we offer 5 market-driven specializations in business analytics, consulting, finance, innovation and entrepreneurship, and also marketing. Within the full-time program, our focus areas in finance and business analytics qualify as STEM designated. Again, the program runs 22 months in duration and is a full immersion, leaving time for a summer internship period between year 1 and year 2. Our biggest differentiator in the full-time MBA and really throughout the Mason School is our Executive Partner Program. This is a program in its 28th year at William and Mary that consists of 100 retired and semi-retired senior executives. Our full-time MBAs and our students in our specialized master's program benefit from having an executive partner coach to take them through their learning journey. This is in addition to our dedicated graduate career management team within the Mason School of Business that serves all of our residential and online programs. And employment outcomes in our full-time MBA are very strong. Our students earn rewarding internships experiences, and they typically hit about 95% job placement and employment outcomes. Moving along to our MSBA program, again, you got a nice flavor for what that curriculum looks like. This program is also STEM designated. It is open to all majors, and it is a 10-month residential immersion. As you can see highlighted today, now 2/3 of our MSBA curriculum is focused on AI and machine learning. The MSBA also enjoys a strong support system with the Graduate Career Management Center, and approximately 90% of our students have confirmed employment upon graduation. They boast an average salary of approximately $80,000 US, and the job market is wide and diverse for our MSBA graduates. To share a little bit about our residential Master of Accounting degree, this program is also STEM designated, open to a wide variety of majors. In both the MSBA and the accounting program, we host pre-program boot camps to make sure all of our students are up to speed in just a few short weeks and prepared to start the curriculum. So we put you through rigorous boot camps in both MSBA and MAC. But the programs are approximately 10 months in duration. So you're able to get in, focus on your curriculum, work side by side with graduate career management, and have a strong outcome within the course of a year. With the accounting program, we also include a winter field experience. This is an opportunity to work directly with a company in the accounting field. This program also enjoys consistently 100% career placement every year, and the average accounting salary this season was $90,000 US. So as you can see, the programs at William & Mary have a very strong immersive focus, truly dedicated faculty, leadership and career coaching, and also a wonderful return on investment. You're probably thinking, now how do I apply for those programs? So I'm going to walk you through next steps, which would be our application requirements. Fortunately, our residential graduate admissions team is one. So when you're working with me, Fabian, or Courtney James, you're working with our entire team. And we've been able to streamline the process so that all of our programs require pretty much the same thing. An online application. We ask you to read the application thoroughly and pay attention to all of the prompts. You want to take your time with this portion of the process. We are able to review your submitted application with unofficial academic transcripts, which you will easily upload into the system. Upon enrollment, we will require official transcripts be shared directly from your university. We do require a professional recommendation. This could be professional or academic, because we do understand that many of you coming into our specialized master's programs are coming right from undergraduate study. So your best recommender might be a professor like Dr. Schlosser. For those of you entering into the full-time program for MBA study, we highly recommend a professional reference to talk about your work skills and your soft skills competency. Additionally, we'll include an essay prompt where we'll ask you a question about your goals and objectives, and most importantly, why William & Mary. We'll require a professional resume, and then after reviewing your file, if we feel that you are a right fit for us and we are a right fit for you, we'll invite you for an admissions interview. This can be done virtually. It can be done in your home country. It can also be done on campus if you have the flexibility to travel to Williamsburg, Virginia. We have a lot of questions this year about standardized exams. There are a few exams that we still require. If you don't live in a country where English is the primary language, or you haven't studied at a university where English was the method of instruction, then you will need to take a standardized language exam. And we accept the TOEFL, the IELTS, also Duolingo. If you have had English throughout your mode of instruction, then we're happy to waive the language exams. GMAT and GRE can still really boost your chances of earning a seat in one of our programs. And the most important part about considering prepping and sitting for a GMAT or GRE, it really gets you back into study mode. It also helps to identify any gaps, whether perhaps you need a little bit more preparation on the quantitative side or a refresh on some of your critical reasoning. The GMAT and GRE can be a good guide for you as you're considering going back to grad school. However, post-COVID, when the availability of exams was difficult around the world, we became a little bit more flexible in waiving the exam. So we will waive the GMAT or GRE for students that have a strong academic record and that have demonstrated quantitative capability. So we request that you reach out to your admission advisors individually after you've decided to apply if you'd like to request a GMAT or GRE waiver. And finally, we know that everyone is concerned about how to make this important lifetime investment in your education and in yourself. Dr. Schlosser and I have both gone to graduate school, and we were in your shoes not that long ago. So we recognize that this is a major life decision. We are very fortunate that William & Mary remains committed to supporting merit-based scholarship for our global students from all around the world. The way that you are considered for merit-based scholarship at William & Mary is to simply check a box in the application process. Yes, I wish to be considered. This will not impact our admission decision. It's to purely let us know that you wish to contend for the merit-based pool of funds that we have available to you. We're pretty generous with our students, and we encourage you to move forward with William & Mary. I also dropped some application fee waivers in response to one of the great questions on the Q&A. And finally, there is global loan funding available. We know that this is a tumultuous time around the world as you consider seeking graduate education outside of your home country. But there are some wonderful resources such as Prodigy Finance, Empower Finance, and our partners at Seed. They are all working to provide loan funding to global students without a cosigner. In terms of the ROI, job outcomes, stability in markets, nothing in life is ever guaranteed. But what we can guarantee you at William & Mary is that our graduate career management team, our tribe network, and the reputation of William & Mary will help you to achieve a world-class education and a lifetime network of William & Mary alumni all around the world in various hiring capacities and in various roles. So we strongly believe that our tribe network extends well beyond the borders of the United States, and we would encourage all of our students to consider this investment twofold: an investment in the global immersion and learning opportunity, and also an investment in your future professional development and network. So I hope all of that sounds encouraging. I have been in my role at William & Mary going on 17 years. And as the Associate Dean of Graduate Admission, it is always an honor to work with our Seed partners from Seed Global and all of our talented candidates from around the world. I invite you to work with us and contact us directly. Sabahat and the Seed team can surely share information post webinar today, but here is our official contact information. My entire team thoroughly manages this admissions box, and we invite you to reach out to us at any time. I'd like to thank Dr. Schlosser again for her time and joining this masterclass with us today. I am in awe of the curriculum that Dr. Schlosser and her team have developed. Our students are satisfied, they love their MSBA experience, and they are achieving great success in the marketplace. So Dr. Schlosser, thank you for your time. And Sabahat, as always, thank you for being a valued partner through Seed Global. Turning it back to you, Sabahat.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Amanda, for that wonderful presentation and all the insights into the university. And of course, we're always happy to partner with William & Mary. On that note, of course, like Amanda mentioned, William & Mary is also participating in the Seed Scholarship Fund. I have dropped a link in the chat window. There are quite a few awards available for those who are looking to apply. And in the past, we've had 2 people get 100% scholarship to William and Mary as part of the Seed Scholarship Fund. I would request you to please log on and try if you're looking to apply this year. Great. With that, I'm going to move straight into the Q&A, taking up the very first question, which talks about what opportunities exist for interdisciplinary learning across business, technology, and data. I think both of you can take this up in your own way. Amanda, you can speak about it from the programs, etc., that are offered at the university. Dr. Schlosser, you can speak about it more from the curriculum and the things that you all are doing at the center.
Yeah, I will hand it over to Dr. Schlosser to talk a little bit about the interdisciplinary approach at William and Mary in the MSBA, and from her knowledge of the MAC program as well. Our faculty do a tremendous job. So Dr. Schlosser, if you'd like to speak a little bit about that, I'll turn the mic over to you.
Sure. Well, in regards to the MSBA, one of the great things about it is that it's actually considered a fairly new field, right? We all came from either analytics or information systems or management information systems or statistics or engineering, and so the faculty actually make up a very diverse group as well. Our students that we get in the MSBA are actually also from a variety of fields, which increases our wonderful it makes our wonderful conversations that we have and our debates and our discussions much more lively and complete. And so it's not just about in my classes, it's not just about me lecturing when we're talking about a topic. I always like to get that interdisciplinary or even global perspective from students as we're talking through concepts and talking about situations that have occurred. So there's a lot of interdisciplinary learning in an MSBA because it is fueled from a lot of other fields, including the fields in business. I know someone mentioned finance below, so including finance, including analytics, but also including math, computer science, psychology, IR, and we're getting some law students in there as well. And so that always brings a very unique perspective into our classroom.
Great. Thank you so much for that insight. I mean, of course, with a lot of schools now and a lot of students, a lot of companies, a lot of job roles looking at people who are coming in with this 360-degree sort of a mindset, I think William and Mary is targeting it. Great. Thank you so much for that answer, Jayashri. We hope that answers your question. The next one, Amanda, I'm going to bring it up to you. I know we spoke about merit-based scholarships and about how anyone is eligible to apply for it, but students are still a little concerned, students being students. They want to know, is there any sort of eligibility that you are still looking for, or what can they do to sort of make sure they stand out from all of the other people who are applying for these scholarships?
Absolutely. Well, again, we're very serious that for William and Mary, it's a checkbox to be considered. And then from there, it's a holistic review process for both admission and for scholarship designation. The truth of the matter is that in all programs, we have a budget allocation, a pool of merit funds, and then it's our job to award those based on academic history and academic performance. In some cases, professional work experience or internship experience. We also evaluate the soft skills, your propensity to lead in a program. If you're someone that we think is going to work really hard on their job search and impress employers, and someone we would want to put right in front of an alumnus tomorrow. So that professional presence that you share is also a qualifying factor. If you do submit a GRE or a GMAT, of course, that can boost your competitiveness, but that's not the only way. So it really is a very holistic review. I know that leaves you all with some unanswered questions, but you'll find that almost all of the schools operate on that system. Generally, we award anywhere from 25% to 40% scholarship for all 3 of our residential programs. Our online programs don't have quite as much scholarship because obviously you're going to hang tight to your jobs and do those programs online. But the services that we provide in the residential experience are really top notch. So you have to take that leap of faith, narrow down to about a dozen schools, maybe 20 schools, but make sure you're not just going for the final price tag. You really need to find that right fit and right alignment with your school and to really figure the ROI. You might get a better scholarship to go to a school in New York, but the cost of living is triple in New York compared to Williamsburg. So there are a lot of factors that you need to take into account. So Sabahat, I hope that helps. We're generous, we review holistically, but we really try to get to know our candidates and make those decisions wisely.
Yes, thank you, Amanda. That was helpful, really helpful. If I just have to quickly add on, what I would recommend is don't try to do it as a tick on the box, like you have a checklist. Okay, I need to get this done, get this done. No, be yourself. Do something that really makes it worthwhile for you, and make sure that you're building your profile not in a way that it just suits the university, but really sort of helps you in your individual and career growth going forward. Great. The next question is by Abhi, and I'm going to sort of turn it around a little bit because a lot of students do have this. We spoke a lot about interdisciplinary learning, the amalgamation of so many different fields and streams now coming together. What he wants to know is, would it be a good choice for someone who has come in from a finance or a commerce background in India, is doing, let's say, a CFA, etc., to then go and pursue an MS program in the US? How will that sort of be beneficial for them? Is that the right decision for them to make? What are the implications in the future, etc.?
I could take a stab at that. When I'm offering advice to students, it's generally to think about what your ultimate goal is. So an MBA is a program that's structured more for the development of future business leaders, managers, directors, people who are going to be setting strategy, leading organizations, managing large teams. And then we have some of that bleed over with our specialized masters. Of course, we teach business skills and leadership development. We try to bring our MSBA and Max students to the highest level possible. But as you can see, there's a time difference. When you're in an MBA for 2 years, you have more time to simmer, more time to cook, more time to learn and have experiences. The 10-month is very purposeful and accelerated to get you right out into a specialized field. So I always encourage students really weigh yourself. What qualities do you possess? Do you see yourself being the top level manager, or do you want to be an incredible technical specialist at the right hand of maybe a CEO, feeding up good data and intel, feeding good information? Doesn't mean you can't become a director with an MSBA or MAC. You absolutely can. They're really just two different degree paths. A CFA could bleed right into an MBA with a specialization in finance. It could be a combined degree, an MBA, MSBA, because a lot of great roles these days are in the fintech space. Dr. Schlosser, if you'd like to comment a minute, I know so many of our MSBAs are really able to do a lot of things with their outcomes.
Yeah. I just like to echo some of the things that you said. And so we have finance students in both degrees, in MBA and in the MSBA. So I'll speak about the students in finance and the MSBA. I think they come into the MSBA for a variety of reasons. They're learning more analytic skills that they can then use in their finance degree. And they're working with other students from a variety of fields and disciplinaries to try to help figure out what that will do in their space when they graduate. So I think there is a lot of room for finance students who are going to continue in the finance space after they graduate to benefit from an MSBA. And I think our students do agree with that, which is why they keep coming. I echo the fact that our program is 10 months. And so that accelerated space is another reason why some students would choose to come to an MSBA versus an MBA, which is 22 months. It is accelerated, which means that it's very, very quick, pretty intense, right? Because it is an MSBA, because we want students to be able to have the skills they need to work when they graduate. And so, so for finance, I think it's a great option.
Thank you so much, both of you. I really hope that answers your question and sort of gives you perspective. I know we're right on time, but I'm going to take a last question for you, Dr. Schlosser. I know, Amanda, you have a hard stop. In case you wish to drop off, that would be absolutely fine. Thank you so much for your time and your presentation. But this is my last question. And I know you've answered it, but I'm going to bring it up just for the benefit of those who missed it. Could you please highlight if students participate in research with faculty on emerging technologies like generative AI, ethical AI? AI being the buzzword, students really want to know how are they going to get their hands right into it from college so that when they graduate and they're out, they can jump right into the career world.
Yeah. So I responded just briefly in the chat about that. So speaking from the MSBA, we're tackling all sorts of things AI. It's definitely at the center of our change initiatives. As you know, the world's changing, we're changing with it and making sure that we're as up to date as possible. We do tackle ethical AI, and we want to make sure that students have a good understanding of what it means to blindly believe AI versus actually knowing that there's biases and problems, right, with using certain AI. And so we go through that. We do have TA and GA positions available. We do at the MSBA, in the MSBA program, and we do also at the MBA program and the MAC program, where there's some TA and GA spots. I manage the MSBA TA GAs. And so there are a number of students who work on research projects, of which they could try to focus the professor that they're working with on ethical AI to make that happen. In my mind, I think that we have a lot of TAGA spots available, but it is competitive. So just know that. But we do have them available for students to work with them throughout the year.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was super helpful. And with that, I would now like to conclude the session for today. Thank you so much, Dr. Schlosser. Thank you so much, Amanda. This was really insightful, very wonderful. And thank you so much to all our lovely audiences who've been here. I'm sure you've benefited a lot from this session, and I look forward to connecting with you all soon. Have a great evening, great day, great afternoon, wherever you are coming in from. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.